Scope 1 emissions are the emissions that are directly created by your business. So an example of that would be the fuel being burnt in the vehicles that you operate. If you have a fleet of vans, like we do at GeoGreen, that's a big contributor to our Scope 1 emissions. Scope 2 emissions are the emissions related to generating the energy that you then buy in. So we aren't generating our own electricity at GeoGreen, or we are actually because we've got some solar panels on the roof, but some of the energy that we buy in from the grid, we're not generating ourselves, but it's coming from a power station that potentially will be using a fossil fuel like gas to generate that electricity. Scope 3 emissions are everything else, and they sort of fall into two Scope 3 buckets. So there are your upstream Scope 3 emissions, so the things which are emissions that are related to things that you're potentially buying in your supply chain. So if you're buying in components that are being manufactured elsewhere, the emissions related to that manufacturing will be upstream Scope 3. And then there's also downstream Scope 3, which are the emissions related to the products and services that you then deliver out into your supply chain in the other direction. So something like a car manufacturer or car sales room, for example, their Scope 3 would have to factor in the fact that that car was now going to be on the road, potentially using fossil fuel in terms of being able to drive around.